Murals, chalk art, public art, theater, Aztec dancing, and the wall that heals. We are celebrating art and culture on this edition of Connected Colorado. Hi, I'm Wendy Brockman at the Arvada Center, which celebrates art in many forms. We'll learn all about that later in the show. But first, an artist from Aurora who was diagnosed with a liver disease at a young age, but he never gives up. In fact, he uses the power of positivity and pastels to brighten lives.
Life isn't fair. So stop trying to make it fair. Understand that you're given certain cards and you got to make the best that you can with what you're given. You can't feel sorry for yourself.
Some people just have a knack for seeing things differently.
Elements that are along the center line, they're not going to distort.
Angles, colors, shapes, how the world around us comes alive.
Even if your perspective is slightly off, the illusion will still hold.
And bringing things to life is nothing new for Benjamin Hummel. He spent decades fighting for his.
Started as ulcerative colitis and eventually ended up as primary sclerosing cholangitis. Since I was 6 years old, I've been hospitalized at least 2 or 3 times a year due to complications to this. A terminal disease, so the only cure for it is basically a liver transplant.
But getting a liver transplant in the early 90s wasn't easy. The cost to just get on the transplant waiting list was more than $150,000, and his family's insurance wouldn't cover the bill.
As a kid, you see all your friends, you see all your peers, they're all out running on the playground and doing all the things, going all the trips and stuff like that. And here I am stuck in the hospital, and there's certainly a lot of questioning that happens with that.
Benjamin spent countless nights at Children's Hospital Colorado, all while the Aurora community rallied behind him. And spending all that time in a hospital bed left the Aurora Central student with 2 options.
And when you're hospitalized, what do? Watch daytime soaps or draw pictures? You know, as a kid, the daytime soaps was not an option.
Art became Benjamin's outlet, his passion. It led him to love.
We actually met at art college, and we fell in love immediately, pretty much.
Benjamin and his wife, Cherish, have now taken on the name People of the Chalk.
When we're able to combine heads and combine talents, she's my best friend in the whole world. I just absolutely love being a partner with her.
The duo have become masters of chalk art illusions, performing at festivals around the country.
Made the claim, I don't know if it's true or not, but it probably is, the only person to do a chalk art event with a drainage tube in his side.
And on this day, they were brightening young lives at a hospital that gave so much to Benjamin.
When I see these kids come in and enjoy what we're doing for them, I've been there. I know, their frustrations. I know their pain, and it's hard. I know that it's hard. I know that they're struggling. If I can even provide at least a little bit of escape, a little bit of a chance just to put a smile on their face for even a momentary pause, everything will kind of flatten out.
I think being here is just such an honor to give back and also to celebrate how far he's come.
But Mother Nature had different plans. As the art was nearly finished, rain washed it away. Depressing, yet a lesson Benjamin learned years ago. You gotta play the hand you're dealt.
We're all given certain challenges for a reason. I prefer just to count my blessings, and there's many. I don't think I would trade anything because I don't know what that trade-off would end up being.
Because the story doesn't have to be perfect for you to find beauty in the journey.
Wow, Benjamin occasionally has to take breaks from doing chalk art because it is so taxing on his body. We wish him well. Well, now to an amazing cultural celebration in Denver. It's an expression of the harmony of life, the dance of the Aztecs.
There's a lot of confusion because the history books say Huitzilopochtli is the god of war, but Huitzilin is a hummingbird. And Opochtli kind of means goes to the left. So if you direct translate, Huitzilopochtli means the hummingbird to the left. It's about the way the cosmic energy moves, and it's about the way the whole harmony of life exists.
So the original danza for the Chicano community was very much a gift from our ancestors. These scientific traditions of our ancestors.
That drum really connected me, and it brought me onto a path in life that was a lot more productive, a lot more positive for not only for my own enrichment and self, but then as I became a father, it was something that I could share with my children.
The danza itself is a process of movement. We dance for our own health. We dance so that our bodies stay nimble. We dance so that we can express what's in our heart, so we can transcend even.
Because of these cultural changes, now our own people coming up are kind of not welcome. We need to change that diagram. We need to start recognizing ourselves as all members of the human race. One of the things about danza, we're a circle. Everything in the circle is equal, and nobody is more, nobody's less, and we always have an open door. And so we always welcome people to come, to learn, to talk and spend their time, and we always encourage that, because the more that people communicate, the better that they'll have an understanding of each other.
We choose not to be erased, and we choose not to lose our tradition, and we choose not to be forgotten, and we choose that our children do not forget themselves.
What I always hope is that when people come and they see the dance, that they feel a connection, that they understand that everything that we do is really based from our heart, from love, and about the love that we have for ourselves, for our community, for our families, and for everyone else that is sharing the path in life with us.
Wow, we dance to express what's in our heart. Beautiful. Well, joining me now at the Arvada Center is the president and CEO, Mr. Philip Sneed. Hello, thanks for having us.
Hello, thank you for being here.
Tell me about the Arvada Center.
The Arvada Center opened in 1976, and it's expanded a couple times over the years. It's one of the largest multidisciplinary art centers in the country, and we're so proud that we offer such a range of different kinds of art: theater, dance, music, visual art, digital art, almost anything you can imagine.
I have been here many times, but it's been a couple years. So I'm really blown away by the growth that's happened. Tell us about that.
We've had a lot of programming growth. We've certainly grown the plays program in the Black Box. We've always done plays here and musicals on main stage, but we've expanded what we do in the plays. We've expanded the employment period for the actors. We offer 3 plays in repertory during the winter and spring. We've added a lot of classes. We have a digital arts lab now where we teach digital art, and we have tablets and laptops for the kids to use if they can't afford their own. We've added a temporary sculpture exhibition out front, which is the first step toward a permanent world-class sculpture park, which we're in the midst of designing and will be raising money for. We now manage the banquet halls as well as the rest of the building. So we have our own events program and are looking forward to the time when we can convert some of that space into additional classroom spaces, because the demand for classes, both by the public and by schools, has exploded.
Talk to me about the classes that you have.
I think we're probably the largest arts education program in the Rocky Mountain West.
Really?
Well over $1.25 million every year generated from classes of all kinds. Over 700 different classes, camps, and workshops.
700?
Over 700. In non-pandemic times, when schools are taking field trips, we have a very, very busy schools program and bring in schools every day of the school year to experience a half day of several different disciplines of arts, and that will come back, we're assuming. But we have all sorts of programs after school, weekends, and summer for all ages, from toddlers to as old as people have energy to come and take a class.
So the art outside is so spectacular. Tell me about is it a caterpillar, dragon?
Squiggles, we call
Squiggles,
them.
that's right.
Squiggles turned 21 a couple years ago. We gave him a drink because he was of drinking age. It's a wonderful sculpture that was commissioned for the Arvada Center. This terrific artist created this fantastical, mythical, really colorful, dragon-like creature that kids can interact with and climb on. And that's an example of using art and taking an artist to create something that's functional, not just decorative. And we're very proud of that.
So explain your relationship with the city of Arvada. You work very well together.
When we started in 1976, and for 40 years, up through July 1, 2016, we were a department of city government. So when I started, I was a department head, just like the police chief or the head of utilities. But also when I started, a process had just begun to examine whether the Arvada Center might be able to function more efficiently and not need as much ongoing increases in funding from the city if we were an independent nonprofit. So that was something that was worked on for 3.5 years, and in 2016 we became independent of the city. But we are in a very close relationship with them. Their funding to us is as much as it ever was. It's just not increasing as much as it used to be. So the city was able to stabilize the amount of funding they give to the Arvada Center. But they still own the buildings and the land, and we're in a long-term management agreement with them, which is exactly the same relationship that the Denver Art Museum or the DCPA have with the city of Denver. So it's a great relationship.
Talk about the power of art. You must see that every day.
You know, I'm passionate about this. I mean, not everybody understands the role that art plays in their lives, but every time they buy a new piece of furniture, every time they go to a movie, even the products that they buy in the grocery store, all of that is designed by people with artistic background and skill. Just the packaging, the design of the cereal box. You know, so even if you don't think you like art or don't like fine art, you know, I mean, action adventure movies, video games use symphony orchestras. So art is everywhere in people's lives. They just don't always realize it.
Amazing. What else would you like to tell us about the Arvada Center? Anything else?
You know, the Arvada Center, like so many organizations around the globe, has made a major commitment to equity and diversity and inclusion. We call our program IDEA, for Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Access. And this was something that was important to us before the pandemic and before the call for the greater demand for racial and social justice and the rise of Black Lives Matter. But those incidences, I think, caused a lot of us to sit up and say, we need to make this a much bigger priority. We really need to listen and provide a place for voices that are not traditionally heard in venues like ours. We need to be more open, more inclusive, and find ways to truly represent the population of our region and our country.
I feel inspired just being here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
You are very welcome.
I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a banner year.
Thank you.
Speaking of theater, some young people in North Glen are benefiting from a youth theater program there.
So the North Glen Youth Theater is an incredible program.
Everyone knows how wonderful they are.
You get to be not you for a very specific amount of time, and it's really nice.
I felt there was something in my eye.
The sparkle.
This theater is it's so amazing.
You're not going to take care of her at all. Daisy's leaving you.
The North Glen Youth Theater program has been around since 1994. We've had thousands of kids through our program. We've done over 90 big stage productions.
When I was in middle school, I saw an audition here for Big Fish, and that was the first show that I've done here, and I've been with it ever since.
That's what I get from marrying a Voodoo man. A great big, hulking, physical specimen.
This is my first time in youth theater, and I came here because I would like to expand my social bubble and be just kind of like chilling and maybe have like a hobby of my own.
The production, the characters you play, it's a big part of theater, but I don't think it's the biggest part. The biggest part's your co-stars, the community you work with, because in the end, if you don't have a good director and you don't have a good cast and you don't have good crew, it's just not going to work out, and NYT offers all of that.
The goal of NYT is to be that bridge between what is perhaps like a high school production or a production maybe they've done through their church or a smaller classroom setting, and then the bridge between like a professional company. And a lot of our alumni have come back and said, you know, this has helped me in so many other areas, not just in theater, but in life.
And it's definitely given me a thicker skin, and I know I'm gonna take everything I learned with me through college and far beyond.
I met Tom on the Long Island train.
You learn so much just about teamwork and leadership and even like getting your voice out there.
So of course acting isn't the only thing that a theatrical production entails. There's so many other opportunities for kids too who love the theater but maybe don't want to be on the stage. We have lots of opportunities for them to help with the tech, and then we also help the kids, if they want to, follow and shadow us in an intern sort of setting. There's so many different layers that perhaps they don't see or think about when just watching a show.
There's so much going on, and it's so much fun to watch and just be a part of.
You get to dress up and hang out with friends and just be a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Our auditions are held throughout the year. We do shows in seasons. So we have a spring show, a summer show, and a fall show. There'll be a lot of great opportunities for you to try this thing that we call theater that we just love so much, and I know you will too.
Great program for kids in North Glen. Of course, we heard all about Mr. Squiggles here at the Arvada Center. Well, now we want to show you some wonderful art for all in Wheat Ridge.
Public art is so important for a community. It truly gives community identity, it gives community culture, and it gives community cohesion.
We're lucky here in Wheat Ridge to have a cultural commission who is made up of many wonderful volunteers who have created a cultural vision for the community and help us bring public art to different neighborhoods and commercial centers in the community for our residents to enjoy. The Wheat Ridge City Council created a public art fund several years ago, which captures revenues from different redevelopment projects across the city, and those revenues are used to purchase public art and put those in different locations across the city.
Wheat Ridge has over 9 major public art pieces throughout the city. An example of one of our major pieces is this piece back here by sculptor Kevin Robb. This is particularly interesting, and it shows the love and support of community by the city of Wheat Ridge. Instead of spending public funds, there was a mayor's initiative, and individual people throughout the city contributed so that this city could have another major sculpture.
Greetings from Wheat Ridge, Colorado. This was a piece of art that was a collaborative work with both the Cultural Commission, Local Works, Wheaties Academy, Parks and Rec, and also a local artist here in Wheat Ridge. We utilized photographs that were submitted by community members to highlight all of the amazing things that we have here in Wheat Ridge. It's a really exciting piece of art to have in this public space. It doesn't get any more Wheat Ridge than this piece.
We are here at the Wheat Ridge Rec Center with the piece She Ain't Heavy, which is the second piece of public art to have been installed in Wheat Ridge. It is a bronze sculpture that went through the public art process to become part of our permanent collection. This was contributed by an anonymous donor in 1997, but did not get installed until 2002.
This is Red, White, and True Fox. She was commissioned and donated by the Wheat Ridge Art Commission in 2013 and was voted People's Choice in the Ridge Fest in 2016.
This piece was chosen because it has a contemporary flair to it, even though it utilizes the very traditional cast bronze method of creating sculpture. And the contemporary aspect of this fits in nicely with the other cast bronze pieces that Wheat Ridge has, sharing how eclectic our public art collection is.
This piece is from Joshua Weiner. He's a Boulder resident. It is a stone, marble, and concrete structure offering a different perspective in this passive park located on J and 35th Avenue. And this piece fits very well in with its surrounding. You can see the natural grasses, you can see the natural elements of this piece, and they all work very nicely together in unison.
The Wheat Ridge Rec Center appropriately houses the biggest collection of public art in the community. Symbols in Stone, which is the very first piece of public art that was installed in the Rec Center, and that is tiles that were created by community members, school children, and teachers. These tiles represent personal and community icons. There are 2 installations by Carol Schneider Fennel. These clay tile boxes include seasons, which are hand-carved clay tile boxes representing the leaves of Jefferson County. The other piece is called Natural Impressions, and each of these hand-carved clay tile boxes relates to the recreation center, community, and serve as windows to the past, present, and future.
We as a city are very fortunate to have a public art collection that is eclectic, is dynamic, and is fun. We are proud that the city supports the public arts. In fact, the city just approved a cultural vision, which is huge because every city is defined by their public art.
To me, art is an expression of creativity, of passion, and of celebration. And Wheat Ridge is much more vibrant because of the artists that live here and the expression of art that appears throughout the community.
Another exciting outdoor art event was held in Arvada, the Babe Walls Festival.
Babe Walls is a mural festival of women and non-binary artists. It's here in Arvada, and it really supports the local mural community.
Traditionally, I'm a painter, so this is my first mural, actually. Me and Jonna, anyway.
Yeah, they paired us up. What I was told is like they based it off of our art styles, and so when I got her name, I looked her up and I was like, hell yeah, I'm really excited to work with Coco.
I was really stoked because I had just seen her art like 2 weeks before we got partnered up, and I was so excited. We got an incredible design made by her.
A lot of my work is pretty heavy on feminism, and when I knew that we were gonna do a long, wide wall, I had just gotten the idea of a Vitruvian woman, and something to make it different was like adding color and kind of just expressing how much depth there is in women and non-binary people, and just kind of make it a little out of the norm.
The Arvada Arts and Culture Commission, one of our goals is to have something artful or an artful experience within a 10-minute walking distance of every resident.
To get more art on the walls here in Arvada, and last year was in Westminster, is really exciting.
I mean, I love seeing that like this kind of festival and art is getting brought out into more of like the suburbs of Denver. So I'm excited to see how Arvada develops over the next few years with all the art that's going up.
The Arvada Arts and Culture Commission and just me personally are so excited to have Babe Walls here in Arvada.
It's amazing to be a part of this festival that really supports those artists who traditionally are underserved and underpaid.
To work with this many artists and like everyone is just super supportive and uplifting and easy to get along with. It's been the highlight of my summer so far, so I'm just grateful to be a part of it and that they picked me.
And now we get an insider's look at the Broomfield Auditorium and find out why it is such a great resource for creative events of all kinds. Work on my bar class.
Welcome to the Broomfield Auditorium. It's a beautiful 288-seat auditorium nestled here in the heart of Broomfield.
You know, there is a stage, there are seats, but really it's a place for stories. And so you can come here and experience a story, you can come here and write a story, you can come here and see other people's stories being performed. And so that's why this space is so special to the community, because there's a lot of different people who come here and have different experiences.
The auditorium's kind of a home to a lot of different events. To me, it's just that connector of the community.
I mean, I've done programs all around Colorado, but I don't think there's a better facility than what we have here. This is phenomenal.
We love having this space here, not only for programs that we present, but for the community as well to come and utilize this space.
We'll go anything as small as a piano recital, all the way up to 25-piece big band or orchestral events. Sometimes we'll have 60 players on stage. We also cater to dance groups. We have a theatrical lighting grid, as well as Dance Marley. We do a lot of music performances as well. The acoustics in here are really nice.
So in the auditorium, it's really a blank space for anyone who wants to come here. So really it's like a black box space. It's yours to create, and our team here, our staff here is here to make that dream a reality. We're really excited to see what the community can imagine here in the Broomfield Auditorium.
We have 288 seats, so it's 253 on the ground floor and 35 in the balcony. ADA accessible, hard of hearing systems.
Behind the scenes backstage, we have a full green room area, we have mirrors, restroom, space to prepare.
Fully automated lighting board, networked digital audio console. We also have a 7-camera multi-channel live switching and live streaming system, up to 30 mics.
We also have a great piano that can be used as well. It's a beautiful instrument to be able to utilize. Another role that the auditorium plays in the community is to support our community organizations as well, and we see the auditorium as a great catalyst for engaging and supporting with our local organizations.
Broomfield is so good in working with the nonprofits and supporting us and making sure that we really work as a community.
Honestly, just creating art and being in the midst of art constantly is what I live for. Being able to do this all day long, I couldn't ask for anything more.
I love being here in Broomfield because the support for the arts and culture is so apparent. We're just excited to be here to realize that vision for arts and culture, and the auditorium plays a huge role in that. For more information on great events and how to rent the auditorium, visit broomfieldauditorium.com.
And finally, a piece of art that commemorates history and sacrifice. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Replica Wall, the wall that heals, is a traveling exhibit that came through Brighton recently.
Feel a strong, what's the best word, responsibility to come and serve and honor and help out wherever we can.
Tom Worzen served in the United States Army during the Vietnam War.
I have 2 names on that wall. One was a high school buddy. He and I sat side by side, back right-hand corner of the room for 6 years. And the other fellow was a intelligence officer that operated in somewhere the same area that I was, and I was there in country the day he was killed.
He helped stand watch over the wall that heals as it made one of 28 stops during its 2021 tour.
Every one of them, every one of those guys and the gals left family behind. Brothers, fathers, sisters, uncles, cousins, mothers.
This was the first war that we had television in our home.
For Will Weidebeck, visiting the wall meant more than just a school field trip.
So both of my great uncle and both my grandpas, they served. Well, my uncle died in it. He's on the wall too. My 2 grandpas, one of them died from the Agent Orange, and one didn't want to talk about it, and he died from cancer.
Weidebeck was able to rub his great-uncle's name while learning about what his family went through over 40 years ago.
I learned what time it was in, and I learned why all the things they left, what they meant to the family and all that.
Chaplains, how many? 16.
The Wall That Heals is a 3-quarter replica wall of the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Visitors are able to experience the wall rising above them as they walk towards the apex. This is a key feature to the design on the wall in D.C. The wall displays all 58,281 names of service members who died during the Vietnam War.
We had a young man come in who has had some challenges with PTSD. And we did a couple of names for him, rubbed a couple of names.
For some, seeing the wall that heals opened some old wounds, but it also helped them say goodbye to those that were lost during the Vietnam War.
It was cathartic, I think is probably the best word. These were people that died right beside him. 2 people on either side of him. He was suffering with what they would call survivor's guilt, and this was the opportunity to take some of that off of his shoulders and finally touch the name and say goodbye.
Art truly can help heal. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial was designed by a 21-year-old undergraduate student, Maya Lin, in 1981. We hope you have enjoyed our mini tour here of the state's great art and culture. Our thanks to the Arvada Center for having us, and we'll see you next time on the next edition of Connected Colorado. We are celebrating art and culture with murals, public art, theater, Aztec dancing, and the wall that heals on the next edition of Connected Colorado.